What's up, guys? Welcome back to me showing you my Dragon Ball stuff collection. Obviously, I've got a lot of stuff in the background. You've seen bunches of my collections and whatnot, and I just got some brand new ones that I am going to talk to you guys about briefly. And yeah, so let's get into it. I'm excited. As you can see, I went a little overboard and bought more than I meant to when I was out at my local place that has these things. By the way, there will be brief-ish spoilers for the newer Broly Dragon Ball Super movie if you guys have or haven't seen that. Just letting you know, there will be brief spoilers about things that happen in that movie. Before I start talking about the figures, I would like to discuss these boxes. I'll start with this guy here, the long-haired future Trunks. I immediately thought it looked pretty cool. He's just kind of chilling. He doesn't have, a super dynamic pose, but I've always wanted, the long-haired version of him. I think it looks really cool. I think it's got, cool detail. And Ban Presto World Figure Coliseum. And this is one of my favorite versions of Trunks. It's the not the new Dragon Ball Super version. He seems like way scrawny, and he doesn't. I don't know. This was like the cool, edgy version when he first showed up. I thought it was cool. I'm going to use my this thing as a bit of a platform because he was a big part of the Android saga and the Cell games. There he is from a distance. Not super huge. You can tell from the size of the DVD he is just about the size of that all the way around. I'll get you a close-up in a moment. Just want you to get the feel for it at this distance. Now that I can get a little closer, you can see some of the details a little better. I think it's really, really cool that they put all the little scratchy bits. Like, it's almost like you can see what type of fabric are in the pants that he's wearing. Like, the wrinkles all look really well crafted and solid. His sword bit here is actually a separate piece, which doesn't stick to the bottom. It does not stick to the little bottom there. It's well made enough where you can actually slide that sword into his hand. It's not fully just crammed in, the hand is not super solid, so you can actually kind of move it and squeeze squeeze the sword in there. I thought that was a really nice touch. His expression is solid. I like that he's got the extra hairs flying off here. I feel like that's something you got to be careful with. If you drop this thing, you might lose a couple of those cool looking hairs. The jacket is very, very solid. A lot of good attention to little details, even in the belt there. The rock, it's a rock. It looks fine. Little scratches in the bits of the sword sheath. Got the capsule logo. Solid. I feel like this. I was very, very happy with this purchase. It's less than $30. It might seem like a lot to some. I think it's worth it for these types of figures because they're very, very well made. You don't even see the little stretch in the shirt where his pectoral muscles are. And I think it's cool. I think it's a good version of his character and a good representation of the character as well. Alright, let's check out the Broly box a little bit. Like I said, there is going to be slight spoilers because there is a new-ish Broly movie. It's strange that they have a S Cultures, and it's not sculptures, it's cultures. So, I don't know. I think that's kind of odd, because these are sculptures, not cultures. Maybe they mistyped or something. Just a definite look of what the figure is on that side. This one is apparently also Ban Presto and Bandai. Man, they gotta do a lot of copyrights and shit, don't they? Bandai Spirits made in China. Spirits. Anyway, one thing that I find irritating about this is that the figures are basically the same size, but because this box and that box are bigger, they... Look, there's that much extra box at the top. So like they ended up costing an extra $10, from the other one. I think that's kind of bullshit. But I mean, they're good figures, but like they're almost the same size. Whatever, I'll show you. Here's this guy. Really like the dynamic pose. They nailed it pretty much on all accounts. You can even see little scratches that they put into the armor. All the little details in this furry little thing he's got here. Got little boot scratchies, but I don't even know if they planned on the boot scratchies. This piece is its own little thing. This top piece, the torso and the bottom bit are actually two separate pieces. The musculature is very, very good in the legs. This is pretty just solid and self-explanatory. I mean, it's just a well-made figure. Everything's very solid. They put more detail into this piece and the armor than anything else, I'd say. But I mean, it's a solid paint job. Got a good look to him. I always thought it was weird in the new one that they got the nubby shoulder pads, but it actually makes more sense if you're fighting all the time. So anyway, this is one of the forms of Broly in the new Broly Dragon Ball Super movie, and I like it quite a bit. And this bit here I thought was a major spoiler thing for the Broly movie, because I had not seen all of the trailers, and so apparently it did get spoiled in one of the final trailers for the movie, that this version of Gogeta shows up. Just the fact that Gogeta's there at all was a big spoiler for me. I was excited to hear about it, but as soon as I walked into the theater and bought my ticket, they handed me a little piece of paper, a little mini poster thing that had the character on it, and I was like, what the fuck, man? I did not see that specific trailer that had already showed the character. So anyway, we got this bad mamma jamma here. I am a fan of Gogeta. I think he just barely showed up in one of the older Dragon Ball movies. And this, again, just like the other one, which I think is funny, because, like I said, they've got just that tiny bit more empty box, even though they're basically the same size as the other figure. They totally would have fit in the box. That Trunks one, I feel like, has more detail than these guys. These ones are very, very solid, but they're almost too solid, whereas they didn't go as far in depth with the, tiny little details. And I mean, there are tiny details, obviously, but I almost feel like the cheaper figure was actually more detailed. Anyway, this is, I really, really like this a lot. His padding stuff is a more yellow than it was in the older previous stuff. Hair looks just fine, good, solid. He looks good from, this angle. I feel like his head, at certain angles, his face looks really, really squished, which is goofy. And that's sort of a thing with, a lot of Dragon Ball stuff. It's like, they got little tiny noses and little squished up faces or whatever, and it looks good from certain angles, just like the cartoon and shit. But, it does look kind of goofy from certain angles. That little divot underneath his lip and shit. But yeah, I mean, it's still very, very solid, very, very good. Just deep creases for the for the muscles and stuff. Deep ass creases. They went all up under the vest a little bit. I like that these things are solid, but they're not totally. They still move a tiny bit, but you're not. You don't have to worry about them falling off and stuff. The painting job is very interesting on this, because they used very bright blues in specific spots, and then left, the darker blues for certain shadows and stuff. I thought that was a neat little touch. Everything looks good. Hands look good. I like the wrinkles in the vest coming up. I like that shit floating around. I think it's a very, very solid figure. Yeah, I think they did a really, really good job with these. And there you go. That was my sort of a review, but more just kind of showing you guys the new stuff. I hope you enjoyed. Hope you're all having a great week, and continue to have a great week, and make sure to always have a sword hanging around that you can just sort of sit and hang out with. Yeah, hope some of you guys are fans and enjoyed the type of thing and whatever. And I'll talk to you later next time I get some new stuff. And so, peace out, everybody. Have a great day or a night. Have a great week. Have a good old time. Have a nice spooky season. Happy Halloween and whatnot. Peace out, everyone.